اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أحسنتم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبا القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الميامين المنتجبين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Congratulations all on this auspicious occasion of the birth anniversary of the 8th divinely appointed Imam, who is Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. I was thinking actually on the way here, before I start the speech, is that if any of the youth or the kids want to get involved in any program, please come see us. Even a short poem, especially on occasions like this, it's very, very rewarding. Poem or a speech, anything. You want to do the whole night, we're fine with that. You want to give a quiz, we're happy with that. Yeah, Jawad? So inshallah next week, you're up for a quiz. So please come see us after if you're really interested. Very rewarding, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. So inshallah tonight we're going to have a short speech about Imam al-Rida. I don't want to take too long because we have a quiz and some prizes inshallah, some books. Imam al-Rida alayhi salam lived in a life full of richness, not as in money rich, but richness and very eventful time, full of opportunities compared to other Imams. Due to the circumstances he was in, he was able to propagate Islam wide compared to other Imams, all because of the circumstances. Actually, he was called Alim by Ahlul Bayt themselves. All the Imams are called Alim, but he was specifically called Alim. Like for example, Imam Sadiq, they're all Sadiq with the Imams, they're all truthful, but he was called Sadiq from narration, specifically. So Imam al-Rida alayhi salam lived in an eventful time. There was actually 3 times in Islam or through Shia Imams where knowledge was spread out so far. Does anyone know when they were? Jawad? Do you know when? Actually, let's ask. So I don't want to pick on Jawad today. So 3 times where knowledge spread out so far. Does anyone know? Yeah? During the Imam's times, I mean. So which Imam? Imam al-Sadiq and, does someone say something else here? Imam al-Baqir. So that's one. That's considered one. Another time, there's 3 times. One was at Imam Ali alayhi salam's time. And the last one was at Imam al-Rida alayhi salam's time. His knowledge spread out so far that if you see from this short speech I'm going to give, if he had the slightest opportunity, he would turn mountains upside down. And you see the vast amount of knowledge that he had. There's so many books written. There's so many books attributed to Imam. And some of the books are really good, like medicine. They're attributed to him, not saying that they're all completely authentic, but they've been attributed to him. Therefore, he had taught these sciences. Yes, that's right. He was against all that. So most of us know Imam from what? From being the Wali al-Ahd. Most of us know him from being the successor to Ma'mun or for the Abbasid Caliphate or the Crown Prince. But did you know that Imam lived 50 to 55 to 57 years, different narrations? He only lived with Ma'mun for 2 to 2.5 years. He was only Wali al-Ahd for that many years. He had a whole life before that. It's even said that when his father passed away, when he was martyred, he was the Imam of the people, even though they're born Imams, but he was the Imam of the people for 20 years before he was Wali al-Ahd. There's reports saying that when he was 18 years old, he was in the Medina Mosque and given halaqat. Halaqat is where he sits down and the students sit in a circle in discussion, ask questions, and he teaches. When he was 18 years old. Actually, he was also known for his debates. Most of us also know debates from Ma'mun's time between the priests and the Jews, rabbis, but he had very famous debates even before that. So inshallah tonight, we want to talk about a particular event in his life. It's called Hadith Silsilat al-Dhahabiyya, the Hadith of the Golden Chain. Some of us have heard of this, but I thought I would say it again for those that haven't heard of it, because it's very important. And inshallah, we can take lessons from this. Maybe we can apply it to our day in life that maybe we haven't heard of it before. But before, inshallah, to bless this gathering, because, we're celebrating Imam's birthday, please recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So Harun al-Rashid. Harun al-Rashid was a Abbasid Khalif. He was what? He was the Caliph at the time of which Imam? Famously known, Imam Musa al-Kazim alayhi salam. Right, the 7th Imam. Harun al-Rashid left sons behind when he passed away. 2 of his sons, Al-Amin and Al-Ma'mun, were left behind to take the Caliph after him. He gave it to Al-Amin. So Harun al-Rashid said, hey Amin, Al-Amin, you are the next Caliph. After you will be Ma'mun. Al-Ma'mun didn't want to wait that long. He said, I can't wait till my brother passes away. I want to be the Caliph now. At the same time, Al-Amin didn't want to give it to Ma'mun. He goes, no, I'm not giving it to him. I'm going to give it to my son. So there was big fights between the two. They were brothers, but there was big difference between the two. Al-Amin was born from a noble Qurayshi Abbasid woman. People in Iraq respected her. People in Baghdad respected her because of her noble lineage. Al-Ma'mun was born to a slave. The Arabs back in their Jahiliyyah days still had some of that in them. They didn't like Al-Ma'mun being born to a slave. So Al-Amin made sure that no one liked him in Baghdad. So what would he do? He would send poets to start defaming and humiliating Ma'mun. And why poetry? Because poetry was a propaganda. People would start memorizing all these terms about Al-Ma'mun. Long story short, big fights together. Al-Ma'mun beheads Al-Amin. And he hung his head in Baghdad so the people could see. And then eventually he had his head sent to Khurasan. Very graphical, but that's how Al-Ma'mun was. So what happened during that time? There was big division between the Arabs and the Persians and the Ummah, big divisions. And everyone in Baghdad hated Ma'mun for what he did. So what did Ma'mun say? He said, I need someone to bring this unity together. There is one person that I know that people love him so much. He lives all the way in Medina. That's Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. If he accepts the Khalifa of me, people will start believing, oh, Ma'mun didn't do anything wrong. Ma'mun was right to kill his brother. So what did he do? He summoned Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. The first summon was through letters. He sent letters. The Imam rejected. He goes, no, I don't want anything. The second time he summoned him in a public gathering. He said, come. He also rejected. The third time he summoned him was in a private gathering. Al-Ma'mun, someone called Fadl ibn Sahel, he was a Persian advisor of Ma'mun, and Imam al-Rida alayhi salam in a private gathering. So Ma'mun said to him, in short, he said, I want to take off this garment of Khilafah and give it to you. Take my position. The Imam said, you can't do that. He goes, why not? He goes, if you are the rightful Caliph, you can't do what you are doing because you are the rightful Caliph. And if you're not the rightful Caliph, you also can't do what you're doing because you can't give away something that's not yours. So Al-Ma'mun got angry and he said, at least be my wali al-ahad, be my crown prince or my successor, because I need someone to succeed me when I die. Then the Imam said, don't worry, I will die before you. He goes, what? How dare anyone hurt you when you're under my vision? He goes, I will even name you who will kill me. And then Ma'mun goes, you know what? He tried to change the subject and he goes, you know your grandfather, Imam Ali bin Abi Talib, he was forced into a shura by the Caliph Umar bin al-Khattab. He was forced into a shura, and if no one agrees with the person, behead all of them. Then Imam knew this was a threat. Who are you compared to your grandfather? Your grandfather was Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salam, who are you? That's what Ma'mun's trying to say. If he was threatened by a caliph to be beheaded, you think I won't do the same? So, back and forward, Imam al-Rida alayhi salam accepted under a few conditions. One condition was, I will not get involved in Ma'mun's politics, he said, in his dirty politics. So straight away this backfired to Ma'mun because he wanted him in politics. If you see from the story of Hadith al-Silsilat al-Dhahabiyya, which I'm going to mention, the slightest opportunity Imam had, he was able to turn mountains upside down. Now he has the whole palace in front of him. He can establish majalis, schools, lectures. Now everything was open to him right now. With the slightest opportunity, you'll see what happened. Now everything's open for 2.5 years. In Ma'mun, you see what happened. And you'll see in the books what has happened. So, going back, Imam is summoned to Khurasan. Because Khurasan, I looked at the map. So Khurasan was part of Iran, was part of Turkmenistan, part of Uzbekistan, and I think a couple of more cities. Now it doesn't exist in that sense. But Khurasan is where Ma'mun was ruling from. So he summoned him. He said to his guards, when you bring Imam al-Rida, don't go through Kufa, because that's a stronghold of the Shia. Go through Basra, because there's more Sunnis there. There's hardly any Shias there, because you're scared of an uprising. Now, at the same time, we probably don't hear this, but there was uprisings happening right there and then. One of them was the brother of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. He already had an uprising. Now, Imam al-Rida probably didn't agree with his uprising, but we can talk about that in another lecture. So he said to him, cover him in a caravan. So he had a mule or a camel, and cover him in a caravan with a sheet so that no one recognizes him. So through the way to Basra, on the way, he stops at a place called Nayshabur, or Nayshabur in English. You remember, he told him not to go through Kufa, yeah? So he's going through the opposite way, where majority of them are Sunnis. Now, Nayshabur is very known for its Hadith scholars. There were so many schools of Hadith in Nayshabur. Most of them were Sunni, obviously. There was some Shias. Anyway, it was going through Nayshabur, and people recognized this was Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. All the Sunnis knew who he was, but not his status. They knew he was a very famous YouTuber. So now, you know how you get these YouTubers, yeah? They become famous overnight, yeah? So for example, like, or forget YouTuber. No, I'm not famous. Let's just say Cristiano Ronaldo, a soccer player, yeah? Or a movie star. They're walking, people reckon, oh, they start stopping and this and that. Imam al-Rida was very famous for that sense. Not as in fame, but people knew him. Anyway, they recognized him through the net he had. So everyone came out. People started standing on their rooftops and started, observing to see what was happening. People came to the mule and started kissing the hooves of the mule because they know who he is. This kept going on for a while until the Hadith scholars came out. They all came out with all their students. These Hadith scholars, most of them are Sunni, yeah, by the way. So anyway, they all came out and they said to him, please recite for us something what the Prophet would have said or said. So they told everyone to be quiet, all the scholars, everyone be quiet, and then everyone went quiet. Then Imam al-Rida alayhi salam opens the curtain of the caravan, and then he recites Hadith Silsilat al-Dhahabiyya. What is Hadith Silsilat al-Dhahabiyya? It goes like this. He opens the curtain and he said, I heard from my father, Musa bin Ja'far, who heard from his father, Ja'far bin Muhammad, who heard from his father, Muhammad bin Ali, who heard from his father, Ali ibn al-Husayn, who heard from his father, Husayn ibn Ali, who heard from his father, Ali bin Abi Talib, who heard from the Prophet, sallallahu alayhi wa ali, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, who the Prophet heard from Jibra'il, who Jibra'il heard from Allah saying, La ilaha illallahu hisni. There is no God but Allah, this is my fortress. فَمَنْ دَخِلَ حِسْنِي آمِنَ مِنْ عَذَابِي. Whoever enters my fortress is safe from my punishment. In other words, whoever believes in La ilaha illallah. Whoever believes that there's no God worthy of worship but Allah is as if he's in a fortress safe from all punishments. That's what he means. And then he closes the curtain. Then the caravan starts moving a little bit. Then he opens it again. He goes, بِشُرُوتِهَا, and it has conditions. وَأَنَا مِن شُرُوتِهَا, and I am one of those conditions. And then closes the curtain and goes. That's it. This is the simple hadith. So small that it was recognized as the golden chain. This golden chain, if you have a look on the internet, Google search, you type in golden chain, you're going to see some chain from Bukhari. You're going to see some other chains, this and that. There are golden chains, but this is the golden chain. This is a specific golden chain that none will deny it. Not the Sunnis, not the Shia. Okay? So why is it called the golden chain? Because the people in the chain, what is the chain, by the way? I heard from my father. Who's his father? Imam Ja'far. Who heard from his father? Who heard from his father? All the way to who? To the Prophet, peace be upon him. To who? To Jibreel. To who? To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is as if it's gold, pure. People used to get this chain of narrators, just the names, and write it in gold and put it on the walls and hang it up. According to Sunni scholars and some Shia scholars, anyone who recites these will be cured from epilepsy, leprosy, or certain sicknesses. People used to just recite the chain, not the words, not the hadith itself, the chain of the hadith to be cured. So let's dissect this, inshallah, and then I won't take too much of your time. If you have any questions, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So, if you realize the history, who did I say is listening? Who was the people there? They were mainly who? Scholars and Sunnis. Yeah, Hadith scholars and mainly Sunnis. According to reports, there was about 20,000 people there. Okay? So that's why you're going to see this chain narrated by many Sunnis and many Shias, first of all. In Ghadir Khum, how many people were there? There was 40,000, 80,000, or 120,000, according to some reports. This would be probably the second biggest event after Ghadir Khum if you study the lives of the Imams in a certain gathering like this. So why did the Imam, right now, if you're in this situation and everyone there is not mainly Shias or your follower, what would you say? What would you have done? Why didn't the Imam give a sermon, like Ghadir, for example, sermon of Ghadir? Why did he quickly just give this point and go? Very short hadith. Everyone will memorize it. Anyone can memorize it. Why did he give this? So first of all, why? Imagine you are speaking now. Someone asks you a question, you answer it straight away. The Imam established something first, which is what? The chain. You speak right now. Where'd you get that shirt from? Well, I heard from my father, I heard from his father, that he got it from his father, and then it passed on to you. You don't usually stay like that. I got it from my grandfather. That's what you would say. So why did he start with, I heard from my father? Yes, qualify, yes, good. Number one, to establish common ground between those. Number two, if you don't know me, now you know who I am. Who am I? The son of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. Now, the third thing, whatever the Prophet says, it is as if I am saying it. Thank you. No, thanks. Whatever the Prophet is saying, it is as if I am saying it. That's what he's saying so far. This is just the chain. Okay? Now, we come to the text. What does the text say? La ilaha illallah hisni. What does that mean? Believing in La ilaha illallah is a fortress. I think that's the translation, yeah? Fortress. Is my fortress. Believing in La ilaha illallah is like entering my fortress. Maybe I'll add a little clause there. What's the first thing he established there now? After who I am. He established who he is. He established Tawheed. He didn't establish, now I'm going to tell you how to pray. Now I'm going to tell you how to fast. Why did he establish Tawheed? Because your whole foundation is based on Tawheed. Your whole prayer is based on Tawheed. That's the second thing he established. La ilaha illallahu hisni. Whoever enters my fort is safe from my punishment. So what is the Imam trying to say? That whoever believes in La ilaha illallah, who believes that Allah, what's La ilaha illallah? Yeah, but there's a better translation. There is no God worthy of worship but Allah. Because we translate al-Ilah. I keep hitting this. Huh? Anyway, there is no God worthy of worship but Allah. But he says it has conditions. بِشُرُوتِهَا. What's the conditions? بِشَرْطِهَا وَبِشُرُوتِهَا. What's the condition so far without the next part? You have to have ma'rifah. You have to know who's La ilaha illallah. Is it a tree outside? I believe there's no tree other than you. No, we know Allah. That was a funny one. You have to have ma'rifah. You have to have knowledge of who is Allah. Number 2, you have to have sincerity. Your belief. You have to have sincerity that I believe in Allah. And number 3, you have to obey Allah. This is all part of believing in La ilaha illallah, obedience to Allah. And then the Imam says, وَأَنَا مِن شُرُوتِهَا, and I am one of the conditions. So what does that mean? You will never understand Tawheed, you will never complete Tawheed without me, the Imam, Imama, Wilaya. You will never complete it. You will never understand Tawheed. Because obedience to Allah is obedience, or obedience to the Imam is obedience to who? To Allah, to the Prophet. Obedience to the Imam. أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم. Okay? Obey Allah, then obey the Prophet, and أولي الأمر منكم. Who's أولي الأمر? Can we say it's some tyrant caliphs? We can't follow someone that's not infallible. We can't follow someone that's just logic, without any narration. You cannot, your logic cannot ever accept following a tyrant. Your logic can never accept following someone that makes errors, even if they're not tyrants. You cannot. So, Ulil Amr has to be someone infallible. So you cannot take Tawheed. You have to take it all together. You can't just take parts and leave the other parts. What did Shaitan do? Allah said to them, what? Bow down. You take some parts, obey me. No, I don't want to bow down. I'll worship you the way I want to worship. You know what Allah says in the Hadith? I don't want you to worship the way you want. I want you to worship the way I want you to worship. And he got sent out of Jannah, out of paradise. You have to take everything with it. You have to take the Imam with it. Another way to look at it, how do you understand Tawheed without the Imam? And what happened when they took out the Imam? What happened when they took out Al-Thaqalain? They started introducing gods. They started saying God sits on a throne. They started saying God, every time he sits on the throne and moves, the earth cracks. Every time in hellfire, he puts his foot in hellfire to cool it down. On the last part of the third part of the night, he comes down on some animal, flies down, gives people barakah. What kind of God is this? The Imams, if you have a look through the Imams' narrations, not one of them has ever limited Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like that. None of them. Thank God, even though our logic already rejects all this material things about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Imams affirm it and strengthen our belief. So in all of this, saying this, just to conclude here, is that the Imam, as I said, he had this small piece to deliver a speech, and he chose this. He established Tawheed, and he established Tawheed is nothing without Imamah. Tawheed is nothing without Wilaya, him being in authority. You can't just believe, yeah, I believe in Allah, I want to go through Allah, that's it. Allah doesn't want that. Second of all, in this amount of time, as I said, he managed for all these people to write down this hadith. And just imagine what he could have done with everything open in Ma'mun's palace. And anyone that has read his biography, you'll see thousands of debates and miracles. And Ma'mun tried to defame him so much that it didn't happen. It didn't go to his plan. He eventually poisoned the Imam in that 2.5 years. But inshallah, we learnt a little bit from this hadith. It's good to memorize. It's very short, and teach it to your kids. At least we know who Imam al-Rida alayhi salam's status is. And if we have any questions, please go ahead before we bring the quiz, inshallah. Any questions? Everyone's good? Yes? Sure. Yep. Yes. Yep. Sure. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So some of the brothers say. Actually. So. Yeah, so the brother was saying that those that didn't hear is that according to some of Ahl Sunnah is that you have to obey the Caliph no matter what he is, whether he's a sinful person, a tyrant, whatever he is. And that's why you see them obeying people like Julani and maybe Netanyahu. Not all Sunnis believe in this, according to my knowledge. Wahhabis definitely do. Actually, there's a group called the Madkhalis. They're like a new Wahhabi staunch group that follow another scholar. They will not march for Palestine. They definitely won't. It's against they will never support Palestine. They're Madkhalis. So whether you say directly they're supporting Netanyahu, not directly, but indirectly they are. But these people that follow the Caliph and don't care about righteousness or justice is very hypocritical and also conflicting with other things. For example, you have to obey Abu Bakr, you have to obey Omar, right? According to these people. You have to obey Uthman, you have to obey Imam Ali alayhi salam. And if you do not, you're a fasiq, you should be killed. So these people say Imam Hussein did a mistake by not obeying Yazid, because Yazid was what? The Caliph. If that's the case, why shouldn't Aisha be killed? She didn't obey the Caliph. Who was the Caliph at her time? Imam Ali alayhi salam. And many other instances. But no, she repented. Where's the evidence that she repented? This is just rubbish. This all came from Banu Umayyah. If you study a bit of history, and when the Adliya came out, in theology, there's a big subject called Adala, where they study the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Banu Umayyah tried to justify Yazid's killings, or all of their killings, like Muawiyah, everything that they did, they tried to justify it. Oh, Allah wanted this. That was their theory. Oh, Allah wanted this. If Allah didn't want this, He wouldn't have allowed it. That was their theory. If Allah wants to, He will throw the Prophet in hell. And if Allah wants to, He'll give Muawiyah and Yazid heaven. This is totally against what the Quran says. Totally, this is what they used to believe. But unfortunately, when you talk to someone who doesn't have logic, you're just going to hit a brick wall. I actually spoke to someone, and I was trying to explain to him Tawheed. So I tried to give him a logical analogy. I said, 1 + 1 is 2. It's truth, absolute truth. And then he stopped me. No. I said, what? He said, 1 + 1 is 2 according to you. Someone else, it might be 3. I said, this conversation's over. We cannot talk anymore. I don't know. And another guy came up to me. Actually, sorry, side talk. Christian, actually, I was debating one. Actually, I wasn't debating. He just came up to me out of nowhere. I was at work. How many times is your Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, mentioned in the Quran? I knew this. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. How many times is he mentioned in the Quran? I knew this answer. I said 4. He goes, how many times is Jesus mentioned? I said, I don't know. He said, 17 times. Shouldn't he be following Jesus? And then he walked off. And I just thought to myself, what is this logic? Because it has more numbers, you should be following him. And then 5 minutes later, I came to him, well, Shaitan is mentioned more. Should we be following Shaitan? But he didn't want to hear it. He just walked off. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So inshallah, we have a quiz tonight. Is there any more questions, by the way? If not, we have a quiz tonight. And we have books to give for first prize. These are tafsir books for teenagers or for kids donated by Islamic Lessons Made Easy. And adults, yes, of course. They are very good. Surah Al-Qadr, for example, explains verse by verse and in a simplified manner with the help of Islamic Lessons Made Easy. There's like a team sitting here of Islamic Lessons Made Easy. So alhamdulillah, I'm not lying, come on. There's a big team there, but they're very shy. They're very shy to... There's not my name here, but anyway. So inshallah, if we turn on the TVs, did Ali go? Or is he still here? We're supposed to be setting up, yeah, can we set up the TVs? So inshallah, get out your phones, inshallah. And these are valued at $15 each, by the way. There's 5 of them. So inshallah, a blessing to you. And inshallah, we'll keep you in our du'as and you keep us in your du'as. Inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.